Hello everyone and welcome to the Unbound. My name is Saforiel and I'll be the host of this game, and with me are a few lovely people who will be playing the characters of this particular story. Let's go with Cybermama first. Who will you be playing?
I am playing Messy, who currently has gotten all of the party to swallow bees.
Yes, that was quite a swarming experience. About terrible puns, good grief, I've already started. Shannon is frozen. Oh dear.
Oh,
Dear.
hello.
Oh,
Am I here?
in spirit.
Me.
She's here in spirit, we can hear her. We can hear her voice.
I play a Lalu who is positively a buzz to be here.
Oh no, that's even better. Besides being a buzz to be here, we also have Violet.
Yeah, playing Amiru, who's got a lot to think about all these bees in his stomach.
It's hard to top the previous one, that's fair.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not good with puns.
Bubsky.
Yeah, I play Ardeth, and he we last left him off just he's sort of found a dominance over both his I suppose you could say employer and his wife.
Which was indeed a very, very awkward and odd situation. Then we have left Aaron or Forgotten Dreams.
Hello, I'm Forgotten Dreams, and I will be playing Sargon, the Blade for Hire, who is apparently going to have to kill everybody.
So, and as we plan to murder everyone, let's bring us back into the story. Last week, our little group went on a search as they thought that Amphithe, the wife of Usheb, was missing. And in their search, they eventually ended up with Messy consuming these seemingly unfamiliar flowers, tiny flowers that had been growing in her courtyard. And this made her quite high and aware of a certain trail that seemed to be followable, which led them into the ziggurat as they were following Messy, as these spectral, non-existent bees seemed to catch her attention. And far under the ziggurat they found what seemed to be a root that was growing upwards out of the rocks. And a swarm of bees swarmed everyone in the dark. Each and every one of you swallowed one of these bees, after which they subsided and returned through the crevice which they came. Once reaching the outside of the ziggurat, everything was dark, so you had been in there for quite some time, quite a bit longer than you expected. And yeah, on returning home, Ardeth at the very least found a very worried husband who was very worried about his wife Amphithe, who they hadn't been able to find, as she almost directly after Ardeth entered the house, wondering what the hell was going on and why everyone was so upset. Which ended up with a shouting match between the two of them again, which Ardeth really quickly quieted down. And currently our camera is hovering, like zoomed out over this room with two people sort of sulking in opposite corners, and Ardeth in the middle. Both of them just staring a bit sheepishly at Ardeth and sort of glowing slightly angry glances at each other, as Amphithe and Usheb have been called to heal, so to speak. And coming in on this scene, Ardeth is quiet for a minute. And then you notice that the tension, despite still being there, just settles down a bit and finds like perches.
Why don't we just start by taking a deep breath? In and out.
You see the two of them sort of follow your command and sort of try to calm themselves down.
Right. Ladies first. I want one of you, one at a time, to talk about why you're angry at the other person. The other person is not allowed to interrupt them. You are to use respectful language. You are husband and wife, after all. Understood?
They both sort of sheepishly look at you, and it takes a while before they sort of nod.
Right. As I said, ladies first.
I'm gonna guess this is not particularly your fault, and she looks at Ardeth. But I'm angry with my husband, and she looks at Usheb, for bringing you into this household. But not particularly
Is that
like
all?
our matrimony was going splendidly before you arrived. And she looks at you and then back at Usheb. But this really isn't helping. She looks at Usheb.
Right. Usheb.
I was hoping you would be more accepting of this, and he looks at Amphiti. Bringing him into the household was a way for me to make things work better. Amphiti goes like, then you should have discussed it before doing so. Right.
Well, she is right. You should have discussed this before bringing me in. But also, Usheb, you can't fix a marriage by bringing a third in. That's never gonna work. Sorry, it's
Sort
funny
of
to me.
looks at Amphi or Amphibi and is like, the reason I brought him in is because he's a man. And it's not you that is the problem, or was the problem. Amphiti just sort of raises an eyebrow at him as he goes, I don't think I can just be with a woman as you expect me to, as is expected of me. But considering our position, I wanted to make this work nonetheless. And she sort of blinks at him. Well, why didn't you tell me that earlier or sooner? And Usheb just shrugs.
Might it have something to do with your pride, Usheb?
Of course it also has to do with pride. As imagine that the family goes down because of me. And Titi suddenly just says, let us move this to the sitting room. I'll have some food brought in, as in we should discuss this properly now that it's finally out here.
Would you like me to be present, or just you two of you?
You are part of this now, as in, perhaps it's better if you are present.
Very well.
And she sort of calls one of the other slaves and is like, get us some fruit in there and something to eat, some flatbread perhaps. Yeah, let's talk. And she moves together with Usheb into the sitting room. And moving out from that scene, I'm going to leave Ardeth there for a bit because this feels a bit awkward to play out. For me personally. I'm going to zoom back over to somewhere else in the city where all of you had split off, I believe, at the end of the evening. Or some of you at least. After leaving the ziggurats. Who's going where? Shannon. And probably Amaru.
Yeah, we were together. I think, weren't we gonna go to the same place? I can't remember the characters.
House.
Yeah, I think three of us were together, weren't we? Yeah.
Alright, and
Sorry.
Messi, where were you headed? Also the banner house?
After leaving the area, Messi has been kind of mumbling to herself and scribbling in a notepad about the ciphers on the wall. She's headed to the banner house to have maybe a mug of ale and a snack and try to figure out what to do next. She has not realized that people are actually following her. She's in her own world.
Or even perhaps you might
But
be
she's
following
heading
them
straight
like
for the banner house.
unwittingly out of sorts. Because Sargon's also going to the banner house, if I'm not mistaken. You were going to look for someone in particular. So all of you sort of make your way into the banner house. Messi just a few steps behind and sort of only realizing that she's entered a watering hole, so to speak, the moment that she steps inside. You find yourselves a table together?
No, I'm headed to the bar. I'm not looking for a table.
Alright, Sargon goes straight for the bar. How about the rest of you?
Okay, I follow.
I
sit
guess
down at the
everybody's
bar.
following.
Everyone is going to make this their regular place. They're all going to hang at the bar. So as all of you find yourself up front, the man behind the bar is like, oh yeah, what can I get you?
Hey, you can get me a wine. I don't know about the rest of these people. Also, have you seen Issa or Nabu?
Issa's been here earlier today. She left after a bit. Nabu I haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, figures. Harm in trying.
Anyway, here's your wine. Anything
I'll
else for
also
you
have
guys? Except the rest of you?
Glass of wine. Can I also have some cheese with my wine? And
Just slowly pan my head in her direction as the bouginess flows out.
She... It doesn't take long for the barman to sort of bring you your wine as well. And he sort of looks expectantly at Amaru and Ilalu.
Just a normal beer. Nothing fancy.
Alright then.
No cheeses.
Do we still have a Shannon? Just a quick check-up, because...
Yes, and Alalu is very quiet because she doesn't have any money on her, so she is just kind of
I was wondering
behind
because I also
her because
can't-
she's...
Yeah, I can't tell by the camera, it's really frozen, so... That's why. Sorry.
I would hop in and hop out, but I don't want to fuck up the cameras.
Alright, let's have a quick hop in, hop out. Hop out, hop in.
Okay.
pipe up, and I pay for the drinks. So
There we go.
I say I'm buying the drinks for everyone. and I put the money down on the table.
Oh, perfect. That's good, thank you. And the rest of you, well, Amaru also gets his drink and sort of...
And I ask Ilala, what are you drinking? I'm paying for it.
Thank you. Anything with berries?
Oh, desert berry wine in that case. The man behind the bar says. And he brings you a mug of this blue liquid. As you're sitting there, around you, sort of not a lot of attention being paid to you by the rest of the patrons. What's going through your minds?
Well, I probably head off towards a table and try and find some peace and quiet, and then immediately get interrupted by everyone else sitting down on the table, seeing as how this is going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm following.
Yeah. Kind of just stare at everyone as they begin to sit down, and then stare like a very heaved glance across the table at Messi. Just thinking back on the bees as I slowly sip at my wine. Is there going to be a reason that you are following me, or...
I'm sorry. Apparently you didn't want to be blessed by the mother.
Oh boy. Alright. Let's not start down this whole path, alright?
I'm sorry. I apologize.
I just continue drinking in silence at that point.
It really is. It's my fault. I can understand if you're angry with me.
Amaru, you don't have a problem with this whole bee thing, or Lalu for that matter?
Oh, I'm still trying to process the fact that what I thought to be an old wives' tale sent magic bees down my throat. Or perhaps we're all hallucinating from the things on the wall. I'll convince myself of that one.
I'm sure one or the other is true, if not both.
Possibly both, yes.
It's at that moment, Sargon, that you spot Naboo entering the establishment.
I'll sort of wave towards him.
He sort of notices you and waves back and sort of starts making his way to your table. Sargon, good to see you again.
Naboo, good to see you as well.
So, how have you been?
Well, I would say that everything has been, how you say, copacetic, but that is not entirely true. There has been a little bit of drama here and there, but I think I will save any of that talk for after you've gotten yourself something to drink.
Right. Give me one moment.
I'll flip him a coin so that he can go get himself a drink, whatever he prefers.
Thank you. And he makes his way to the bar. The rest of you also saw this soldier type entering, like a man in armor, clearly wearing the uniform of the Royal Guard. Doesn't take him very long before he sort of returns and sits down at your table. So this your crew?
Oh, no, very much not. This here is the bougie of us all, Messi. That there is the dancer Ilalu, and this is priest boy Amaru. Sort of a ragtag group of individuals I ran into the other day who have sort of just been around.
Should I ask?
Is he sitting next to me? Is Naboo sitting next to me?
Possibly, yes.
Is his sword sitting next to me?
I'm gonna say that would be on his left flank, and I was imagining him sitting left from you. So you would have to reach over his lap to get to it.
So it's not touching me, right?
No.
But is it next to my hand?
It would be on the other side of the person.
You'd have to give him a
I'm
reach
on the
around.
other side. Okay. Alright. Is there any of his weapons on this side of me, like a dagger or...
There's a dagger on his lower back. That is strapped sideways so that you could pull it with your right hand. Oh no.
Alright, because I'm curious about this person and what kind of person he is, it's almost like I want to feel like I emotionally want to reach out to the dagger. I'm not going to touch it, but I'm going to emotionally like reach out to the dagger and wonder what this was used for and what kind of person this is.
It is early for that. Also, you're not entirely aware of what it is exactly that you're doing. So you imagine that and you try that, but nothing really happens at this time.
Okay. So I just put my hands at the table and sigh and just see if I can figure out anything about this person.
Looking over him, he's clearly part of the Royal Guard. Looking at his feathers and seeing that you aren't exactly from the lower districts, you recognize that the feathers on his armor and on his helmet that he's carrying around. He's probably of a slightly higher station, a captain perhaps?
Messi, you don't have to stare at the man. You can just ask him questions.
I was just wondering, I noticed the feathers on the helmet. I was just wondering what kind of person you are.
Nabu sort of looks at you and is like, if you're wondering, no, I'm not married.
Wasn't wondering. Oh, I wasn't. Oh, excuse me. And
You
I
were staring
open
a
my
bit.
notebook and I start nervously writing.
Nabu, for reference, she's rich as shit. You should totally go there.
Oh,
I look aghast and just stare at him for a moment and just continue scribbling. Furiously now, scribbling.
he sort of looks at you, then looks at Sargon, he's sort of...
Exactly. Don't worry, I'll give you her address later. What brings her on these parts, though?
Really put out.
Well, tonight, just leisure. Are you alright, miss?
Yes. I eat some cheese.
I figured you wouldn't have much leisurely time on your hands with all of the murmurs and disorder that's been going on in the city lately.
Exactly, I needed to get away for just a bit. clear my mind.
Yeah, I get through.
It's been, as you are probably aware, hectic.
Yeah, very much so. Very glad I left that life.
Anyway, do tell about this ragtag group, and he sort of nods at the rest of the table as he lifts up his cup.
Well, I think they should introduce themselves, perhaps. Amaru?
Well, that's my name. It's here. That is me. I extend my hand towards him. I am an eye of Ulfat. So that's pretty much it. Hello.
An eye of Ulfat, you say, and he sort of shoots a glance at Sargon.
Look, just because he's religious doesn't mean I don't like him. He's a decent enough fellow. He's kind of funny, you know. A little on the quieter side.
And he sort of looks at Lalalo, and a dancer, you say.
Yes, a dancer, in fact.
Yeah, I still dance, but I'm willing to try a little bit of everything. I used to fish, I used to farm, but now I dance, and I don't know, sometimes I help bars or shopkeepers, whatever needs to be done for the day.
Perhaps if younger is your taste, Naboo, this might also be a worthy goal to chase.
Wow.
Naboo sort of glances over between the two, then looks back at you, and you see his shoulders sort of go up a bit.
Oh, I get that. I do.
I'm Metsy Ayat. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well, all of you. I was just wondering though, does this have anything to... You know what, let's talk about something, and he tries to get
I would highly suggest that.
conversation.
Alalu
going.
pushes a drink forward to him and says, I think you need to loosen up a bit, have some of mine.
Oh, thank you. There's a berry. Huh. And as you are at the table, he sort of starts off with a bit of small talk, and as the conversation is going, is there any particular subject that any of you want to push?
Personally, Sargon would immediately fall into his usual, just like updating him on what's been going on in his mercantile routes that he's been guarding, things like that. He wouldn't necessarily fall into any particularly recent subjects, unless broached by others.
He doesn't seem to avoid any subjects of potential assassinations either. Like, he's avoiding even most of the talk about the tension. He seems to steer away from it. The tension amongst the people and between the current voices. Now, as the evening progresses and evening gets later, it gets to a part of the evening where most of you will start to get tired and feel like heading to your beds. For expediency's sake, or how do I call that again? Should we sort of skip towards where you all say goodbye for the night and everyone heads to bed? Let's see,
I'm gonna go by the stables and see midnight before I go to bed.
So Messi sort of excuses herself. And Naboo sort of, before you go, sort of takes your hand between two of his hands and says it was really a pleasure to meet you. Before letting you go.
Nice meeting you.
And you sort of head off home. How about the rest of you? You sort of splitting off as well, or are you hiring a room somewhere nearby?
I was going back to the temple.
Alright.
Sargon's gonna probably walk a little bit with Naboo. Just get him closer to the royal garrison before finally splitting off, saying goodnight, and heading back to his room at the Serpents something. I don't have my notes on that right now.
Roll me a insight wits if you have the possibility.
Sure. Insight wits. That roll?
I've heard them roll.
Hello?
I don't see them appearing on... Oh, there
Yeah, it hasn't popped up on my side.
Particularly knowing him, and the moment that the two of you sort of split off from the rest of the group outside, you noticed like some sort of tension was let go of. Then again, the tension that he seemed to let go when stepping us outside and being sort of more private with just you around, is that the tension that he seems to let go of was to reveal that he's actually quite stressed. He seems stressed.
So in that case, I'll sort of walk with him and I'll immediately go, alright, now tell me what the fuck is bothering you,
You've received, an invitation, I'm gonna assume. Particular order.
Of course.
That is what is bothering me.
Are you worried for my safety?
Not,
oh, that's cute.
No, not just yours, all of ours.
You should be far away from this little exchanging of coin, shouldn't you?
I'm more involved than I like to be.
I don't like the sound of that. What do you mean?
The king himself has ordered this to happen.
Through you? Are you the one who he had set this up?
Yeah.
God damn it.
You are hanging out with an eye of the Ophat. What's the story there?
The kid's a bit of an idiot, but he's also quite sweet, willing to help, and doesn't exactly like the way things are going in the church.
That is good to hear.
He's useful information.
An inside man. Is he aware?
At this point, not really. He knows things are going on. He knows that the Oracle needs to be consulted, but has not been available for private talks.
Yeah.
And he knows possibly how to start a flash mob. That's about it.
Hey, what?
It's a new trend among the youngsters. You'll figure it out.
It sounds dangerous.
Oh no, it's quite hilarious.
As long as the mob is not angry, then I guess it's safe.
No, it's quite the opposite. It's a mob that dances.
I'm getting too old for this.
Yes, you are.
Grief. No.
So then you should have already known about Messi, yes?
When you introduced her, I figured it was her. I think it's the less we know about one another, the better. Perhaps if all of this is over, she might be an interesting prospect. I've heard that she's not married.
I was thinking of that, yes. Well, you need to get out a little bit. Maybe date around. You've kind of been...
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe that's true.
Yeah, no, definitely. When was the last time you slept anywhere but the barracks?
I can't remember.
Okay, that's a bad thing. It's almost as bad as Amaru sleeping all the time in that, whatever they call the same thing, barracks, also in the temple.
Oh, they're dormitories.
Dormitories, that's the word, yeah. That'd be good for your health, all those people, don't do anything.
Well, on the
Every
bright
time you
side, I
flirt
have
with
my own
someone,
room.
20 other people know.
Yeah.
You have your own room. Oh, well, isn't that fancy? That room also come with bodyguards?
Not particularly. Now this whole thing has me on edge.
Yeah, and it will, as long as you keep worrying about it. However, as I see it, your hands are mostly clean. Sure, you gave up the initial order that things needed to take place, yada yada yada. But as long as you aren't, shall we say, in any particular situations of protection during the upcoming festival,
No,
you should have a clean conscience.
it sort of nods at you. You can make me another wit insight.
Oh, sure. Last one didn't pop up for me, but
The last one
you
was
guys can at least see him.
successes.
One success.
One success.
One success. I will spend a willpower. How many extra dice? I can't see it.
It's not extra dice. You can re-roll up to 3.
Okay. So there is 3 for me to reroll. Good.
An extra success. So you are up to 2 successes.
There we go.
Up to 2 successes. He's withholding something.
You're doing the thing again. Stop. Stop scrunching your nose. What do you want?
As I said, the less we know about one another's involvement, the better.
As I see it, I'm either going to succeed wonderfully or die horribly, so you might as well tell me.
I will be near the ziggurat when all of this goes down. I will be taking all battalions to the square to keep order if necessary.
Okay. All right. So, that's gonna be fun.
Plan is to keep them out of sight, which I don't know how to do. Like, they ask things that are, at the very least, difficult.
Other than the main, issue, how are we doing on the Oracle side of things?
That would be... Probably not checking a name, I'm sorry. Meran is supposed to be dealing with that. I've not heard back.
Well, you know this Moran.
I know him less well than I would like to in the current situation.
I would agree.
He
Is
works,
he also of the church? Is he not?
yes, he works directly for the Ramar.
Who the fuck trusts the church, though, in this sort of situation?
Ramarethi is the one that had spoken with the king before, apparently. So the two of them that came to this agreement.
As a little reminder, out of character, who was the one that was, like, super pissed at the meeting that they had at the top of the ziggurat?
That would be Rama Ethi. He was really disagreeing with the Ulfar.
I sort of bring that up and say, Effie is,
Short-tempered?
stupid.
Yes.
He makes his emotions very plain.
Too plain. He's the wrong person for this entire thing, but he's the one who got the ball rolling, unfortunately.
Sure, but the more you can distance him from that ball now that it's already rolling, the better.
If he would allow himself to be distanced, that would be amazing. Unfortunately, the king likes him, and he himself likes himself even more.
Oh, a good old circle jerk. Good. Just what we needed.
Nobles.
Mm.
Alright.
Always nobles. I should also warn you, Messi's a little weird, so, you know. But she might be perfect for you.
Wait, what are you trying to say? Are we talking about this right now? Like...
It's on the table.
If all of this pulls off,
Yes,
and we survive,
absolutely.
then I'll see about that.
Alright.
Maybe.
Alright.
And perhaps it's time that I chose a different career.
Well, as much as I want to say that there are open positions in my line of work for you, I think you'd be better suited doing something else.
Let's not think of it yet. It's... The thing is, ever since I've been a captain, things have become way too political.
That was the job that you were sent. Do you not remember that we had this whole conversation about how things would get very political
I didn't
very
think
fast?
it would be this bad.
It's always worse than you predict. We had this discussion. You said, yes, yes, I know. Well, then again, you were drunk off your ass.
I might have been. Whatever the case, we're stuck in the situation as we are, and we're gonna have to see it through.
Damn straight. By the way, do you know of a pit fighter, former pit fighter, named Ardeth?
I believe the name sounds familiar.
Hmm.
He has quite a few victories under his belt, right?
Very much so, and right now he is the family pet of some nobles nearby.
Not the biggest surprise in the world, such things happen.
I'm going to be seeing about the possibility of getting him to join in this valiant work of ours.
From what I remember, yeah, he would be a nice addition. Can eat the brute force.
An extra hand in the brute force department is always nice, but you can't go too brute. That's why we have a law.
Yeah, what is her role in all this?
Distraction.
I see. Could be useful.
You get both of the entrancement distraction, that is Alalo, and then you get the bumbling idiot distraction, who I suspect is going to be Amaru.
Right.
No,
Well,
the priest who's walking around through the halls might bump into someone, go sorry, and spend 4.5 hours having a theological whatever.
it would be useful, I'd wager. Well, this is me. I'm heading north here. I'm not sure where you're staying.
Yeah. Back the way we came, but that's fine. Alright, get some sleep. And come by more often. I know, yes, royal duties. But, you know, when the king's not out on the bounce, you should have a little bit more time to yourself and spend less time polishing your fucking weapons, alright? They're already shiny. I know.
I'll try to. I know things have gotten
And no
far too
more,
serious.
no more of that whole 3 a.m., you know, blade practice on top of the ziggurat shit. You did stop that, right?
That doesn't sound like the very best idea right now, to begin with.
Good. Does that mean you stopped it only because of the situation? Have you been doing that this entire time?
No, I haven't. Due to my position, it didn't feel very smart anymore.
Uh-huh, yeah. Alright,
Not that
get
it
out of
ever
here.
was,
Go,
but then
go.
again. It's good to have seen you again, friend.
Always. Come by more often. And say hello to Issa next time you see her.
I will. He
I
sort of
split off.
splits off, yes. Meanwhile, Amaru and Ilalu, you make your ways to the temple district, find your ways towards the barracks. Is there anything that the two of you want to discuss over the course there?
I I would very quickly want to go to Temple of Manat and clarify that she's not cheating on them.
Okay.
After swallowing a bee. That's how she feels. She just wants to be like, you're the one I believe in most. And then she'll go back to Amaru.
So you step into the Temple of Manat and his shrine. The water, like the very shallow water of the central pool of this shrine, lays quite still in the moonlight that shines in through the opening in the ceiling and the door. Besides that, the temple is really quiet.
She'll go through her normal prayers, but she'll do, is it normal to cup the water and drink from it while praying? Is that a normal thing or no?
You could do that, it's not like it's forbidden.
She is gonna do that to almost like cleanse from the bee that she swallowed. And then, when she's finished her prayer, she'll return back to Amaru.
Right. I would like you to make a d10 roll, please. Also, Amaru, you sort of witness her going into the temple and doing this.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm accompanying her, I'll just wait outside until she's done doing the bee cleanse.
Alright. Let me double check because it's not appearing on screen for me.
I got 2.
2.
2.
Good. Both of you, wit awareness, please.
Okay. I can do this. Where's awareness?
Awareness wit. I should say them the other way around.
Here you go. Really? With all my dices, 1 success? Fuck you.
Amaru, however, with 3 successes, you remember this sort of unnerving feeling, this feeling that you had before when near to Alalu that seemed to be like something's wrong. This feeling rears its head again, and you sort of look into the temple, into the shrine, and as you see Alalu sitting there in the bit of moonlight that falls in through the opening in the ceiling on her, it's like a shadow pulls towards her just for a mere second, and Alalu, you just feel a bit cold suddenly. And...
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
He was just gonna shout, are you feeling okay?
Better now, thank you. And then she'll just do one final thank you to Manat, and then head on out to join him. Yeah, I feel much better.
As you stand up and you make your way out again, there's these plates with flowers and little offerings that are sort of set up around this pool. And you sort of knock against one on your way out and you look down, and the food on these plates, you suddenly notice the smell, it's rancid. And when you look down, they're like completely rotten and maggoty and filthy, and that is not supposed to be the case. It should have been cleaned up before this happened.
She yelps, very much yelps, and we need to clean this up. This is like an insult, right?
It's probably closer to someone's laziness than an insult. Yes, let's clean it up.
The two of you sort of quickly start gathering some of the plates and finding your way out of the shrine to a place where you can sort of put this away. You also come across a leg, and he sort of asks you what you're doing, and when you mention that, he's sort of really shocked. That can't be. Oh no, you can bring whatever leftovers to that building over there. There's like garbage that you can put that. I'm quickly gonna gather some more people to help with that. And he sort of takes off. And Amaru, you quickly also figure that if this is noticed and this gets out, that he's probably gonna get beaten for it.
We should probably hurry. Someone's literal ass is at stake.
That's what we're doing, isn't it?
Sorry?
Yes, but we should do it now twice as fast.
So the two of you start helping with these legs, lifting these plates out of the shrine and out of the temple complex. And these plates, they look like they've been here for like weeks. They're really rotten and rancid to the core, moldy and maggoty. And Ilalu, make me a dexterity athletics while helping with the cleanup.
2 seconds. Was it dexterity, athletics? I don't trust my rolls today.
3.
3 successes. Amaru, you also notice as she sort of does this, that at a few instances she seems to almost trip over her own feet and catch herself. As if she's so hurried that she's almost tripping. Ilalu, you sort of also notice yourself almost tripping a few times actually. And catching yourself.
She catches herself, but she just kind of thinks she's just, you know, unnerved by this kind of bad omen and the wiggly maggots. That's probably why she's just not quite moving as fluid as she normally would.
Once you manage to sort
Oh,
of move out
are you still feeling...
Go ahead.
Are you still feeling lightheaded from the... whatever was on that wall?
Maybe, or maybe it's just these wiggly little things, you know, like they almost touched my... Yeah, anyway. And trying to clean these up quickly before someone gets, you know, disciplined. It's a bit freaky.
Yes. Okay. Yes, that must be it.
As you sort of bring the last bit of that out towards where the trash pile is, the slave of the temple, he sort of thanks you. It's like, thank you for your help. You're not going to mention this to any of the...
No, of course not.
Never.
Okay, thank you. As in, this is supposed to be... I don't understand. The flowers were fresh this morning. As in, they should not have gone as bad yet. And the food has only been here since this evening.
That is concerning.
I've never seen food go bad so quickly. I've been in there like less than an hour ago.
Yes.
Do you need help getting out fresh ones, or...?
No, that is fine. We usually distribute the food amongst the poor, but... yeah, it's better if we don't for tonight. Then I don't want them to get sick.
Yes. This is quite odd. I think I need to go and actually sleep. It's been a while since I did.
Thank you for helping and not shouting.
Why would I shout at you? It's not like you...
Well, it is my
It's not like you
responsibility.
spoiled the food yourself.
No, that... Thank you, nonetheless.
Well, no problem. Have a nice day.
And he sort of leaves
Night?
you to
Evening?
Evening.
And I'll just start walking towards the dormitories.
So the two of you start making your way to the dormitory. And unless you discuss anything else, you sort of manage to just walk there. You get inside, make your ways to your bed. I'm gonna assume that Sargon manages to find his way to the Serpent Spirit as well. There was a long talk at your household, particularly under your guidance and your strict earlier, now this has been enough. They sort of talk out quite a bit, and there's a lot more honesty going on than you think usually happens. And it's not like tensions are gone. Tensions are still palpable, but you do realize that they sort of found a new way of looking at each other in the situation. They seem to leave the conversation more agreeable, and Amthiti actually bid you a good night when leaving this time, which you're not used to.
He'll also, reciprocate by saying a good night.
And she nods at you with actual respect, you think, as she leaves the room.
Right.
Missy, you also make your way home, make your way to bed. And as everyone lays down for the sleep for tonight, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in about 15 minutes. So everyone, see you in a bit. Hello again, everyone. Now that we've all filled up our coffees and done the other things that needed to happen, we return to Arthis late in the night as everyone sort of makes their way to bed. And over the sound of crickets in the empty fields and shrubbery, dry shrublands around the city, everyone thinks they're about to find rest as they put their heads down, and things go dark. After you've closed your eyes, all of you tend to find a slightly restless sleep, turning and twisting yourselves in your sleep, waking up having a chest pain, not having the greatest of times, and you're sweating, all of you are sweating profusely throughout the night. And the few moments that you find rest are filled with buzzing voices and speaking in incoherent tones and words that you don't understand. And these buzzes go hand in hand with a bright golden sky, bright yellow and golden light, and trees. Something that not all of you have particularly seen in this sort of capacity, but massive trees that seem to be radiating this golden light, as well as the sky, as well as the ground beneath it. Until in the morning you wake up one final time, this chest pain subsided, and your bed's half soaked with sweat. Like the filthy, sticky sweat in the morning when you get up, particularly under where your armpits are, the places where you sweat most. But there's something odd this morning. Because the moment you sort of come to awareness, the first thing that hits you is the smell of honey that is permeating the air around you. And when you try to get up, all of you, your bed is sticky. The places where you've been sweating, the most outer lines of the wet spots on the bedding, are just wet, but the closer they come to your body, the more sticky they are, and if you get up, you notice that your backs or your side on whichever you sleep are sort of covered in this thin layer of this sticky goo, which has a yellowish shine to it.
I'm gonna... sorry, Ardeth is vulgar. Ardeth is gonna take a bit and give it a lick.
It's honey.
Oh, that might come in useful. Sorry.
I'm gonna take a bath.
Messy sort of, this is not normal, let's take a bath, and you go towards your bathroom. What are your responses, Amru and Elalu?
Well, my first response is, someone did a prank. There's a prank afoot. But it's not a good one. It's the bad one. The kind you have to go and wash after.
And Alalu has like no composure, so I don't think she'd be quiet about her little covered in goo and not being okay with it, and even having the chest pains, I don't think she'd be quiet about it. I think so. Yeah, she'd be trying to almost like scrape it off of her, kind of wiggling about, and then realizing it's on like this mattress and whatever covers there are, she'll like try gathering them, but having a hard time as I'm imagining it's annoying getting the covers off the bed anyway, but if you're covered in stick, that's going to be a hell of an annoying thing. So she'd be having a fight with the corners over there, and just a little freaked out, a little confused, and then when she sees Amaru, she's like, "You too?"
Yes,
like a hazing thing?
Unfortunately. Is anyone else awake?
Yeah, and you actually see two of them, especially after Ilalu starts sort of almost panicking across her bed. That two of them are sort of watching you and like, what's going on with the two of you?
Well, I don't
And when
know,
they
but I'm
notice your
guessing
bedding, it's like,
someone
ooh.
did a prank.
Smell a dose of honey. This is weird. I don't like this.
Do you want ants? Because that's how you get ants, one of the others says.
No!
Well,
clean it
apparently
up.
someone fucking wants hands.
Yeah, that's not great. Who would have done? And they sort of start talking amongst themselves as well, figuring out who might have done that. Like, that's
Well,
kinda...
I'm gonna go wash off.
Oh, damn, your bed. Yeah, they really got under you. How did they... Ooh. Yeah, let me get some of the legs to help clean those out, and he sort of points at the beds.
You know what? I'll do it myself. It's quicker. And I'll just start, like, picking up the sheets and stuff.
Right. The two sort of look at each other with, like, strange faces. They seem to be unsure what the humor of this prank is supposed to be, but yeah, it's maybe kind of funny, maybe not. It's just weird to them. Sargon, as well, as you wake up, your bedding is also completely filthy.
Yeah, there wouldn't happen to be a bath in this room, would there?
Would probably be expected to use the public bathhouses more than personal baths.
Are there public troughs?
Oh, yeah, there would be.
Fantastic, yeah. Unfortunately, it's not my room, so... well, I should say, fortunately, it's not my room. So I'm just going to gather my things and I'm going to make my way to the public trough and get this shit off of me. And I'll probably pass a bit extra coin to the barkeep for the morning and say, my room needs to be very thoroughly cleaned.
Right.
Yeah, no, I don't know what happened. And
He sort of looks at you with a look like, sorry, you don't know what happened.
and I walk out. And I'm gonna go wash myself in one of the troughs before heading to a bathhouse.
I like the image of Sargon sort of going outside of the serpent spirit and just sort of standing there above the trough for the horses or for the riding animals and sort of washing himself.
Absolutely.
Quickly, as some people walk by looking at him like confused. Yeah.
You know, the water glistening off his chest, and
Yeah, you could also imagine that, because that might also be very interesting.
There is nothing currently above the belt.
Yep. After which he makes his way to the public bathhouse. Yeah.
what is the bath situation at the Usheb household?
They have like a own bathroom in the house, like an actual bath, which can be filled with warm water. It would take some time to fill it though.
Yeah. Well, first of all, Ardeth is going to put as much, the minimum amount of clothing that he needs to in order to be able to walk around the house. And he's going to knock on Ushar's door.
What is it?
Don't suppose
Door
you've got a sticky situation going on.
Sticky situation? Oh. What?
Yeah.
Wait, is this one of those things that they talk about becoming a oh, this is...
No, it's not that. It's something unique to what happened last night, I believe.
Jeez, it's really everywhere. Like, it's in the sheets.
Aye.
Oh no.
I'll get somebody to help clean you all up, yeah?
Oh, I slept really bad last night. Fuck.
Same. Yep. I'll get the servant, somebody. I'll get somebody to. He doesn't like to use the word slave. I'll get somebody to fill the bath up for you. I'll use the public house.
Thank you. Ah, fuck.
Yeah.
How are you gonna explain? Never mind. I don't know.
Leave it to me. I don't know. I'll think of something.
As you hear sort of cursing in the room as you sort of make your way out.
I will find some female slaves. Tell them that that Ishara needs help. And a hot bath.
All right. They sort of start...
Also, my room is in need of cleaning as well.
They sort of seem confused at the second remark, and then they sort of just start doing what they do. Start pouring water and boiling a bit of water as well to get the bath filled. Meanwhile, you make your way out also to the public bathhouse. Messi also taking a bath at her own house. And they're not really bathtubs, they're more like, well, they are tubs, but they're like in the ground, slightly deeper. Amaru and Ilalu, where you going once you manage to sort of get the cloth to the, or the bedding to where it's supposed to be washed?
We're also gonna get ourselves washed, I assume.
Alright. There's more than one public bathhouse, but it would be very convenient if the two of you also happen to go to the same bathhouse as Ardeth and Sargon. So, for some magical reason, all of you sort of arrive at the same bathhouse, one person earlier than the other, and once inside, you sort of spot one another as well.
Like that Spider-Man meme.
Yep. Pointing at one another, hey, I recognize you. So, Sargon, you're already in the water and sort of rinsing off this honey. As Ardeth sort of enters the same space.
Oh, there you are. Wasn't expecting to see you here, actually. Don't you guys have... Never mind.
It would not be appropriate for me to use the same bath as Ashara.
You're not daughter. Yes, okay, yeah. No, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't...
You wouldn't happen to be, perhaps, looking for some work with you?
I hadn't really thought about it.
Yeah, we can discuss it later. In the meantime, I don't know what the hell happened last night, but... Never mind. And I just continue cleaning myself.
So, honey.
Oh, is that what that's supposed to be? Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Amaru sort of also enters together with Lalu.
Like what was
I see the two of them come in and immediately wave.
Yeah, and I'm carrying a bunch of sheets.
I imagine you've dropped those off somewhere at the temple district where they are washed.
I am carrying a bunch of sheets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He brought them to the public
Maybe
bathhouse.
Lalo
He's going to wash
sorts
them
them
himself.
off, but I specifically want to wash them myself because I don't want to make more work for the legs.
You decided to also bring your laundry. Interesting.
Well, it was a bit sticky.
As he tosses them
Yeah.
into the pool.
They just look where it splashes. Alright.
Well, not the first time I've had sticky problems waking up. This is of a different kind.
Well,
Get in!
information that I did not need to know, but I now know it.
It's not good to take food into bed, she'll say as she starts washing up her laundry and then climbing in.
That is not... Never mind.
Oh, my sweet summer child.
So as the laundry is being done, yeah.
Oh, I poke Amaru the whole time. I just say, you missed a bit over there and over there.
I'll do my best to be like, oh fuck, and then clean whatever bit he's like.
Mm. I love how he's actually indeed following up on that.
It's not normal practice to take one's sheets to a public bath, is it?
It's not really normal practice now.
No, it's not normal.
Yeah, it's not normal to wake up covered in honey, so yeah.
No, I mean, that's also true. I just wanted to check, because I don't know that I'm still culture shocking a little bit.
Do you think this is going to happen every night?
Hopefully not, otherwise I'm going to have to find a new bedding arrangement.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how,
Although if it does keep happening every night, we can start selling it and we're rich.
Is it too late to suck up the bee that we swallowed?
Probably. Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
So, as this awkwardness is going on, Amaru and Ilalu sort of wash up their laundry, and they sort of toss it on the side to bring it back home later to wash themselves as well. Messi at home taking her own personal bath, sort of probably also wondering where this is coming from. All of you sort of finish up your baths and get yourselves ready for the rest of the day. What are you all planning to do?
I'm gonna go see my horse.
You have one more full day left, and after that, the day after tomorrow, is the festival.
Oh boy. Alright. Well, I guess we should begin our planning of our little event. Sounds the,
So today,
Flash,
tomorrow,
whatever.
the day after that, is the festival.
Event? What are you... What?
Well, I suppose I can let you in on a few things. There is a bit of a job that's going on, and I'll make our way out of the bathhouse. I'm still only wearing half my clothes, even though I'm not clean at this point.
To be fair, same for Ardeth, really.
Yeah,
You probably
so
only left
the two
with
of them
just,
bare-chested,
something
muscled,
Exactly.
making their way into the street,
Yep.
sort of drawing quite a bit of attention along the way.
Still has his blade, though, oddly enough. There's a bit of a job that's going to be happening during the time of the festival. But I suppose I can't tell you much beyond that unless you are extremely interested in making a bit of money and willing to, shall we say, get your hands a little dirty in doing it.
Will that involve hurting innocents?
I can't guarantee you that it will not. However, I do not plan on hurting any innocents.
Will we be hurting people that deserve it?
Very much so.
Then I'm in.
Glad to hear it. As a quick question to the DM, is the pits, when it's not in use for games, usually a good training ground?
You could, because
Public use.
during the day there's usually not much going on, particularly not in the morning. You could have like access just to the sands in the center, or the actual pit.
Okay. I'll actually start making my way that way.
Now I imagine that in the background, Ilalu and Amaru also made their way out with their sheets, sort of still soaking wet.
No, you two can get a runner to deliver those back to the temple.
We don't want to inconvenience them, so
Okay, we'll
we're
swing by the
rushing
temple.
ourselves. Yeah, well, shouldn't we do that anyway to see how our unwell person is doing? Right? We were supposed to check that out, yeah?
Unwell person is... Took me a while to get what you were saying, but yes. I still don't fully understand what you're saying, but we should do that.
I am 100% not following.
Yeah. What is your view on the theological politics of the area?
My view. I have never in my life been asked that. I don't know much about it, to be honest with you. I'm not exactly local.
Clearly. That actually brings up a very good point. Just as a quick question to everyone, what languages does everyone speak? I myself can speak, of course, Nekan, but also Turmanian and Horini.
My mother tongue is Kemi.
Where they wrote them now.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. Is that the only other tongue you know?
Let me just double check. I believe so. Where would it be?
If I'm not mistaken, it should be...
I put mine under features, I believe.
Oh,
yeah, features.
Multilingual. I don't think I wrote it down.
Considering your intelligence, you would have one other language besides Kemi, which is Nekan.
Okay, yeah. Just Nekan and then Kemi. It seemed to take him a while to remember what language they're currently speaking.
Okay. As a quick question again, sorry to the DM, would Kimmy share enough of the root language with Horini so that I could speak Horini, and for the most part, the two of us would understand each other?
That is comparing Dutch to German, or... Yeah,
exactly. Or Switzeldeutsch to German.
There's clearly a similar root. Some words you will be able to understand, but it would be absolutely not the same enough to be practical for communication. You could figure it out, but it would take you quite a bit of effort with one another to try and clear out certain things along the way of talking. So with enough gestures and enough time, you might be able to communicate, but not very comfortably.
Maybe with a bit of Nekan dotted in there a little bit to clarify certain things.
Oh, well, if you clarify some words with Nekan, then it would. It will come out very weirdly, but it would.
Alright, well, I mean, it was worth a shot at least. I figured perhaps communications where every ear could not overhear would be good. But seeing as neither one of us have enough time between now and the festival to learn a whole new language, probably not the best.
Also, out of curiosity, once Messi is out of bath, I'm going to assume that you went to also see your horse for a bit?
Yeah, I went to the stables to brush my horse and look my horse in the eye and talk to him like I do normally. I normally talk to my horse. I don't expect my horse to talk back, but I normally talk to my horse.
What would Messi's plans be after that?
After talking to my horse, maybe go for a light ride, and then spend some time with nature.
Right, so you going for a ride outside of the city, I would imagine, or are you going in the city?
I think around my land, and just spending some time with nature and the mother and my horse.
Right, so you want to ride out for the first part of the day. Okay, you sort of, well, you leave on horseback at some point out of the city, and you go for that ride. In the meanwhile, there's other things going on with Sargon and the rest of you, as you are walking your way towards the pits, as this conversation about language was going on. Eventually you'll arrive at the pits, and it does not take very long to find someone to sort of just ask access to the center of the pit, and if it's for training, then they're willing to just let you in.
What about the rest of you?
Oh wait, you were going to swing by the temple first, correct?
Swinging by the temple first to drop off the sheets, yeah.
So you sort of go to the temple first, my bad. You arrive at the dormitory of Amaru, where you sort of hang out the sheets to dry. And at the dormitory you run into... Let's switch back to this so that I can actually see. You run into Baru.
Oh?
Ah, Ilalu.
Morning.
Right. Have you... Is your dress ready?
Oh, I haven't gone to check, but I can.
Right, as in, I would like you to ask, as in, we would like to receive you for practice, this afternoon, with some of the other dancers that will be joining in.
Sure, which one is it? This afternoon or this evening?
Well, this afternoon, preferably, so that we can all sort of see where we're gonna put who and how we're gonna organize this. I'm not great at this, which is why I would like your insight.
Mm-hmm. How many other people will be there to watch us practice?
Definitely me.
That will depend on how many people will show up, I guess. But besides the dancers, I mean, of course. But yeah, we'll be starting or trying it out at the shrine to Manat. And tomorrow we will practice again at the riverside. Does that sound good?
I'm really excited. Yeah, that sounds brilliant. Oh, good. Yeah.
Amaru, nice to see you again, and you as well. I believe we've met before. He looks at Sargon.
Very briefly, yeah.
Well, good to see you as well. Right, so I will see you this afternoon at the shrine.
Mm-hmm.
Good. And he sort of gives his goodbye and leaves again. And as you sort of put your laundry out to dry and sort of start leaving again for the pits, you eventually arrive at the pits, manage to ask permission or to ask access to train, and particularly when they recognize Ardeth, they just let you in.
On that walk to the pits, I'm gonna clarify with Amaru and Alalu what languages they also speak.
I just speak Nekhan, but I just speak it. I can't read and write.
I'm sorry?
Did I stutter?
I also can't speak, can't read or write. I never learned.
Can you read and write in your native mother tongue now?
Can I, Seth? I forgot.
They don't really have a written word.
There's not really a written word for Kemi.
Fortunate. Bro, you are a man of gods.
Well, I speak Nekan, I speak a bit of Romanian, and I've picked up a motley collection of phrases from the local merchants.
That is always
many
good.
different languages.
I actually switched to Romanian for a short time as I'm addressing Cameroon. I say, it's good to know that someone else speaks something other than naked.
Yes, thought it might be useful. In case they deported me there or something, I don't know.
Just a visible sign of confusion. Why would you ever be deported to...
Oh, yes,
so what is deported?
You probably don't know, I'm just used to everybody knowing. My father, the person who is responsible for me existing, the Romanian spy, hanged on that square, and I point towards the square.
Oh, interesting, yes, well, you can't help what loins you come from, unfortunately, but hey.
That is a interesting way to put it, yes?
It is exactly how you put it, but alright.
You got any clue what they're saying? I say to Alali.
No, but it sounds really pretty. I think the accent's kind of cute.
You're easily pleased, aren't you?
You know, we can still understand the two of you very clearly.
He wasn't hiding it.
That's what this says the case is concerned.
Yes. Alright. Well, I figure I'd bring us here because it's easier to speak without ears directly next to us and in the streets and such, and also for me to see a bit of what you are about. Unfortunately, I'm not... I saw a few of your matches, I believe. Not many.
Well, I might be a bit out of practice. It's been... How long has it been, Seth, since I last fought in the ring?
I don't think we actually picked an actual time on that, did we?
I would say it'd be a handful of months, though, right?
Yeah, probably a few months. Wouldn't be a full year, I believe. Like, no, not yet.
It's been a few months since I did any fighting.
Yeah, that's okay. It's just like getting back on the back of a Nekadon. Once you learn it, it's quite easy.
I wouldn't know what that's like.
Amaru.
That sounds...
Amaru might be able to relate. Who knows? As you're having this conversation, the familiar crunch of the sand under your feet, you feel the familiar crunch of the sand under your feet that you step onto the sands of the pit, followed by Sargon. Amaru and Alalu, do you follow them into the actual pit, or are you gonna sit or stand on the edge?
I don't feel like going into any pits.
So you sort of... Sargon, you notice that Amaru's sort of like...
Turn towards him. What's wrong?
Nothing, just pits and
You
I don't
have-
get along.
You have an issue with standing over where people have died many times, yes?
Oh, no, I'm just concerned they're... well, in a way, yes.
They're
Okay.
not going to use you for target practice, right?
No?
Right?
No.
Sort of point a finger across the field and say, "Those are for target practice."
You see a few dummies and some targets.
I was totally ready for Seth to say, "You see a few strung up bodies."
No. Primitive, but not that barbaric.
I'm going to put a hand on Amaru's shoulder and say, "You are perfectly safe here."
Yeah, okay. Sure, I'll just step into the possibly haunted arena.
I love it.
So are we definitely, I'm looking around for people that might actually be, milling around just to check that in fact there isn't anybody actually listening in on our conversation.
When you step into the actual pit and onto the sands of this arena, you sort of look around and you see at the top of the wooden structure that is sort of keeping the other ground and sand from falling in. There's a few people sitting on the side, sort of watching the few people that are in here that are training. You do hear the clattering of wooden swords as well from the other people that are sort of practicing in here.
Actually, are there any runners nearby?
In here, no.
No. Ardeth suddenly seems to realize something, and he's worried. He's the sort of guy that his emotions are pretty plain on his face and body language.
Do you have an issue?
I sort of want to make sure that Tushar is okay.
Oh yes. We can get a runner perhaps to go, or a more of a person who has to see things with their own eyes.
Yeah.
That answers neither of the questions, but alright.
No, sorry, I'm thinking it's hard work for me, clearly. Yeah. I'll be 2 seconds. I'll just. I'm supposed to pay runners, aren't I? I haven't got any.
It's fine. I reach into my coin purse, hand out enough for what I think would be the relative price of running something from here to that house. Yeah.
Thanks. I'll pay you back.
We're gonna have to, but alright.
I'll take the coin and I'll go to a runner and I'll instruct them to check on. Go to the house, check on his shower, and then report back to him.
Alright. On the outside of the pit, you quickly find someone to sort of fill the role of runner for you. Probably like a younger kid that is sort of playing in the streets. And you send out a runner to the house of Ushed.
Question. Is the kid young enough to appear to be roughly in Ushar's age bracket so that when he gets to the door, the parents are totally going to think he's hitting on their daughter?
Possibly, yes.
Fantastic.
I will, like, as he runs away, I'll say, "Tell him Ardeth sent you."
You don't get a reply.
Fuck me.
As you make your way back into the actual pits. Messi, in the meanwhile, you have ridden out of town on horseback, sort of overlooking the desert and seeing the city in the distance. You find yourself somewhere next to the river where it's slightly greener. As you sort of find yourself a spot to sort of commune with nature, have a sit down, just meditate, that kind of thing. Yeah, what do you...
Take off my shoes and walk around in the grass and go in front of my horse and hold his head and And I just start talking to him about the bees and what happened yesterday and how odd things have been and how much I wish the mother would speak back to me in plain English. I'm not sure what she wants me to do.
So you take your time, you sit there, you talk with the horse, which is just watching you. You feel like it's being empathic with you, but it's hard to tell with an animal. You take your time out here, take some time for yourself and for all of what has happened. Until at some point...
Give him an apple and say, I've got some apples for you. I wish I had carrots. I never know whether or not you like apples more or carrots more, but you seem to like them both. I hope you don't mind me.
He's eager to have an apple when you feed it to him. You had one on you, right? Okay. But yeah, you take your time, you have this meditation. Unfortunately, there's no real signs happening right now. But yeah, you sort of reflect on the things that have happened last night as well, and eventually, when you feel like you're ready to go again, you sort of get on the horse again and make your way back to the city.
I'll ride midnight into the city.
You'll ride, sorry?
I'll ride midnight into the city.
She'll ride midnight into the city.
Ah, right. So, she rides back into the city. In the meanwhile, in the pits, Ardet has entered the pit again.
Welcome back. Alright. Well, let's just say, and I'm going to look around, make sure that the ears that are here in the pits are far enough away so that I can speak at a normal volume, and no one else would hear it.
The way that sounds carries, you figure that the people sitting on the sides and on top of the scaffolding that has also been built around, there's not a lot of people there, but you would imagine that they might hear unless you sort of keep it down really low.
Okay. I will keep it low enough so that only the people directly around me could hear.
Right.
There will be, I predict quite a bit of blood that was going to be spilt during the festival. Now you say you're fine with that. And that makes this quite interesting, because the blood that will be spilt is that of a very interesting political and theological importance. You see where I'm going?
You're saying someone's gonna kill Ulfar?
I'm getting a bit worried about how far the sound might carry. Here. Go over to where I'm assuming there's racks of training weapons. I turn to Sargon and I say, I point at the rack and say, "What's your poison?"
Oh boy, alright. As much as I'd like to do a blade, is there a spear?
There is a wooden, basically a stick, which could replace the spear. It's wooden practice weapons.
I will grab that, and I'm also going to, I'll take a wooden sword just in case, and I'll sort of loop it into my belt.
Alright.
If they've got wooden shields, I'll grab one as well.
Yes, they do.
I look at the amount of weapons that he seems to be taking off, and with like a raised eyebrow, it's like, do you want to stick to one then?
Oh, I am quite versatile thanks to, how should we say, military doctrine.
That sounds odd. That sounds odd. It sounds like smart person talk.
I assure you, it's quite dumb.
He's gonna take a sword and one of the sticks.
Alright. Amaru and Elalu, do you happen to also grab practice weapons? Are you feeling more like standing by and saying...
If there is a stick, she will use like a stick with no weapons on either side. She will use that to aid her when she's stretching.
Alright, so Elalu also picks up a stick next to you while you're picking up a stick, Ardeth, to sort of stand in for a spear. Elalu sort of appears next to you and also picks one up.
He doesn't say anything. He just assumes that she can use it.
Sargon totally does. He's just like, I am quite surprised. I did not know that you could handle. Is it in place of a spear, or perhaps are you a staff sort of gal?
Huh? She says, and she just kind of holds it like this, puts it behind her, and then starts stretching, just basically using it to stretch out her back more and put her legs onto it. Yeah.
No, I see. Well, I'm sorry. A bit of confusion in the moment.
I'm sure she can be taught how to handle a spear.
Literally anyone can. So, it's the beauty of a spear. By the way, I don't expect to be putting Elalu in that sort of danger. No, she will provide perfect distractions in the current role that she has.
I see. I'm gonna take a second sword, either side, and then I'm holding the spear. The spear.
I'll awkwardly squeeze between them to just pick up a few like wooden throwing sticks or javelin equivalents, and then scurry away.
You scurry your way to one of the targets. Position yourself not too far away from them, so you rather close, so that you can still pick up on the conversation or participate in it. As you sort of...
I mean, there was a snide remark from a very big man, so I'm gonna actually be out of earshot.
Oh, okay, you're gonna actually be out of earshot. Okay, so he sort of isolates himself a bit. Elalu, where would you prefer to stand during this? Are you staying close to the two that seem to plan to spar, or are you going to stand closer to Amaru?
Is there like an in-between?
Yeah, you could find an in-between. Let's say you could find an in-between. So yeah, you sort of are stretching, and when you guys sort of look around, you do also notice that the attention seems to be distracted between the people sparring and Elalu's stretching. As in, nobody who came here to watch the people practice expected like this stretching thing going on, and it's also a good-looking young woman. So yeah, there's going to be attention spread out all over the place.
I sort of nudge Ardeth and point over towards Elalu and then the people in the crowd paying attention to her, and I go, you see? Perfect distraction.
Yeah, you make a good point. Are there any of the individuals that are looking at Elalu of a disreputable sort?
Roll me a wits awareness. Let's see, 3 successes. You look over the crowd and you see some faces that you recognize from fighting in the pit as well. Not them fighting, but when you fought. Some that you know have sort of sponsored you in the past with some extra coin, or that take bets and that kind of thing. You do see one face amongst them that you do know to be more of a, at least as far as rumors go, more of a shady type character. Call them like a loan shark kind of guy.
I'm going to put myself between him and Alalu and do him a glare. Warning glare.
You see him sort of scoff at you, and he sort of turns around and starts walking off. So you don't see him anymore.
Make sure that he's gone.
From
And I
from what you can see down in the pit, he seems to have left.
yeah. And I turn back to Sargon. And
Personal vendetta?
I just don't like his type.
Well, I'm not looking to do any damage here. Just see how dexterous you are, shall we say?
Shall I hold back then?
Never.
All right.
Well, then what are we doing?
I'm gonna ask both of you to declare intent.
Intent is to knock out Ardeth.
Okay. So,
Yeah. Not kill him, but
so both of you
everything else
plan.
goes.
Both of you plan to make a swing at each other. Both of you roll me dexterity wits. We'll see who is going to place the first strike.
Dexterity wits?
Yes.
Okay, I gotta change up the thing so I can do wits.
That would go to Sargon, as Sargon sort of nods at you and then lunges forward to strike. Which weapon are you using? The stick to spear with?
Spear, yeah.
Alright. Melee and dexterity.
Alright, it has to be asked. My particular abilities aren't going to come into play yet,
Nope.
correct?
Not yet.
Good. Alright. Melee... Dexterity...
There's someone watching.
Oh.
4 successes.
And then willpower.
What are you planning to do to sort of block the incoming attack, Ardeth? Dodge, try to parry.
Not
Sorry?
yeah, raise
I'm looking at willpower, by the way.
Oh, you're
So you know.
gonna willpower. Okay, you can reroll up to 3 of the normal die.
So 5 successes.
5 successes. If you want to actually block, that's gonna be melee dexterity.
Okay.
Trying to parry with the spear, I believe.
Yeah.
4 successes. So he would, unless you're looking to willpower.
I think I would like to, because let's that would be embarrassing already. How do I do that?
You just get a slash through one of your willpower. And you re-roll up to 3 dice. It's a willpower re-roll.
Where is... Oh, slash through one of the willpowers, and then...
You can
Should
set
I
the
just use
willpower
the chat?
itself. Yeah.
Oh, willpower itself, okay.
Oh, that's one too many, but yeah, we'll just take the 1 success. So you clash, and you sort of block that incoming attack, and you sort of clash out against one another at this point, as this fight gets started. While sparring, what is the talk?
So, as I begin to come into Ardeth and begin to get closer and closer over the fight, I would say, beyond just dealing with this particular individual, we are going to have to deal with the individuals nearby him. Do you have a problem with that?
Innocence?
Most of them, no. Perhaps 1 or 2.
What is to be gained? What is to be lost?
Is to be lost. What is to be gained is, how should I put this? The way it has been explained to me is that by eliminating him, we can deal with some of the turmoil that he has been causing and put someone reasonable in his place. But this gets into the local politics of the bullshit. I am not hired for the bullshit.
At that point, both of you declare me intent. Are you going to strike each other again, or try to strike each other again?
Oh yeah.
I pull back and I throw the spear into Arda's face, or at least I attempt to.
So you're going to try and pull back and throw the spear. Ardeth is going to try and strike. Both of you roll me dexterity and wits.
I gotta change this again. Wits, dexterity, come on. Ah, god dang it. Here comes 5. Oh, no.
As you are clashing and talking, in the middle of this conversation, Sargon, you see an opening to sort of step back for a bit as he sort of lunges at you. And you sort of step out of range and you sort of pull the spear back and you try to throw it forward. Ranged attacks go first in this particular case, so roll me a athletics strength, I think it is, for throwing.
Yep, I got a macro for it, so here we go.
Alright. 1 success.
Yep.
Parry or dodge?
Can I try and catch it?
Oh, you can. That is going to be a very different story. Interesting. Dexterity, absolutely. Would combine that with what would we say? Athletics? I think dexterity athletics seems to be the most interesting combination for that.
Okay.
Five successes. He catches that thing.
Fantastic.
I'm gonna whip it through the air, sort of. I'm gonna like use the momentum to like do another like strike on him.
Alright, so over this distance, he catches it. He turns it around in his hand and uses it to sort of swing at you. Roll me a dexterity, melee dexterity.
Melee dexterity.
For Ardeth, because it's Ardeth's attack now.
Oh, yeah.
You finding your melee dexterity website?
Shit, sorry. Melee dexterity. Sorry,
I figured that's what happened. Yeah.
I'm new to this. But yeah.
Oof.
What the fuck? Okay.
9. Oof. Wow, I've not seen that before. Damn.
Not sure I can top that.
That is very hard to top that. Yeah, roll me either a dodge or a block with the shield. The shield gets, what did we say about shields? Let me double check that, because we wrote something down on that.
Nine though? I don't think I can make 9. Even with a good roll.
Yeah, you're gonna... let's say for the shield... Yeah, just... damn it, I can't find it. Where did we write down the...
I'm not sure where we wrote it down.
I remember doing it, but I don't remember where we put it. Oh wait, armor.
Like I see the.
Armor setup, shields. Small shield gets an attacker -1 on the attack roll, -2 for a standard shield. Oh yeah, we should have taken that in account beforehand because we changed a few of these rules around.
That's fine, we'll deal with it on the next one if I survive.
Yeah, you can roll me a dodge or an attempt to block. The block would be melee and dexterity. The dodge would be athletics dexterity.
Oh, I'm definitely going to try and go underneath it and slash into the underarm with my sword.
Alright.
So, melee, dexterity. I'm definitely going to have to use willpower, but let's go.
3
3.
successes.
Even if I use willpower, that'll give me up to 6. But if I get a critical, it'll get me up to 8. So I can, yeah. I'll go for it.
Alright.
Hopefully there's critical in this, but I doubt it.
That makes up for 4
No.
successes. I
4.
believe. That leaves 5. 1 to confirm hit. So 4 damage dice plus your strength. Ardev, roll me your strength plus 4 damage dice. 4 additional
Is that in the modifier?
damage.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I guess, well, no, hold on. I just have macros for everything. I'm not sure how you're going to do it normally.
Just the total amount of dice would work as well, and we can sort of manually fish them out.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to do that.
So,
What?
with a lot of control, I'm gonna say. In this conversation, you find this opening, Sargon, to step back and sort of throw the spear at Arda, but the distance is quite a bit shorter than expected, and he catches it with one hand and he sort of uses the momentum to swing it underneath your feet. And you sort of get stopped mid-conversation as you get thrown off your feet and sort of land on your ass. As he sort of controlledly makes you trip over your own spear before sort of... What do you do next, Arda, with the spear?
I would like to press both of his spears against his chest and like raise an eyebrow as if to say, "Do you give up?"
So you land on your ass and get both these spears sort of pointed at you. He didn't hurt you, but he really did catch you off guard there.
Never giving up. Shield imposed and immediately strike.
Alright, both of you, again, dexterity and wits.
And I'll sort of quip in that moment. Very good. Unexpected, but very good. Oh.
We've got all
What do you say to that,
today.
Seth?
We're gonna... I don't have a rule for this particularly. Usually it goes to... So yeah.
You want to just re-roll?
Reroll.
Okay.
What was it?
See, that's the roll I needed earlier.
Alright. I'm not gonna assume yet, because yeah, there seems to be quite a few extreme variations in these rolls, which is fun. But yeah, Sargon, you get the push basically, as in you clobber your shield in between the two of you, and sort of go in for a strike while pushing him backwards, pushing both spears on the shield. As you get up, roll me your attempt to sort of strike or knock him over.
Alright,
Whichever you
fantastic.
prefer.
dexterity.
Or that you can defend if you want, of course.
Give me some good stuff.
Try and stand my ground and try and
7.
push back.
Standing ground, so block would be melee, melee dexterity.
Melee dexterity.
5 successes. So would you like to spend willpower to attempt to push those into success?
I think so. Yes.
Reroll me 3 dice, and don't use the willpower itself this time, but the actual manually 3 dice. 3d10.
What was it? Slash R.
Slash R space 3d10.
Alright. With that 10 in there,
Yeah?
you match, I believe. Wait,
Yeah, that'll bring us to a match.
the 2 of them become 8 plus, sorry, 2 of them become 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He actually outmatches you now.
Oh no, outmatches by 1.
Yeah, by 1. So you see him sort of bash his shield in between you and him, sort of putting the tips of your sticks onto his shield, pushes you backward as he gets up and goes in for another lunge, and you sort of just step it aside and sort of just manage to make him miss. Now here's the fun thing about V5. It says to sort of limit combat to 3 rounds. So while you're sparring, you sort of sidestep and give him a slam on the back almost as you continue sparring. Do you continue the conversation here?
Yeah, at this point, just continuing the conversation. You're rather good at this, but beyond just dealing with this particular religious individual, there are talks of possibly getting our hands on at least releasing the Oracle. Now, from my side of things, that is not my job. However, the other 2 over there are very, very keen on possibly getting that done beforehand.
I just nod, I suppose. I'm kind of focused on holding the...
So you see him sort of nod at you, Sargon, but he seems to be focusing more on the fight right now than the actual conversation.
Sure.
Ilalu, you pick up quite a bit of this between the clobbering of wood and slapping each other.
So...
I really have to watch my tongue.
Just had to go there. You just had to go there.
Not on purpose, but yeah, apparently.
Yeah. Lolly would agree. Yeah, we really want to make sure they're all right.
I'm following. But so far, I think. Just keep using small words.
Amaru, you only heard the thing that Ilalu just said.
I will continue to try and use small words throughout to explain. So I'm going to go through what we know so far of the route that the Oathfather's taking. I'm also going to go over the limited information that we have about the guards of the Oracle, both before the festival and what is predicted to be there during the festival. And this conversation is cut short because I'm not exactly getting feedback as to ideas from Ardith. It's just more, I hear you, I understand what's going on. So,
Yeah, his only response is, alright, so what do you want me to do?
well,
Alright.
you're going to be my backup throughout the entire thing, if you wouldn't mind.
You need someone to watch your back.
Essentially, yes. As pretty good as I am, I'm not a one-man army.
Alright. I can do that.
as Ardeth says this, due to the rolls made earlier, Ardeth, you feel like he could be... He's not a complete match for you, but then again, who is? But he's good. He's not bad. Definitely not bad. Sargon, this man is a fighter, Ardeth, and as he says, alright, he again sort of... He tosses aside one of the spears and sort of uses both hands with the one that he's still holding to sweep you off your feet one more time. And as you sort of fall to the ground and sit again, he sort of stands over you, reaching out a hand like we have an agreement.
Absolutely. I'll take that hand and get back up.
You fight pretty.
I fight dirtier in normal life, though. So. Also, I am quite good at the range.
I'm not.
You're not? No.
No, I have a bit of trouble with my eyesight at long range. I can never hit the target.
Any experience doing javelins at the very least?
Only, yeah. A bit, but as I say, long range, I don't... If I ever throw a weapon away, it's very rarely to try and hit someone because it ends in embarrassment. And I'm saying this very, very, like, in a low voice because he doesn't want anyone to know this weakness.
While this is going on, Amaru, you were practicing on a target with throwable materials, correct?
Yes.
Alright, roll me a strength athletics to see how well that goes.
There we go, I get a macro for it. Absolutely horribly.
Fantastic. As the words of Ardeth ends in a bit of embarrassment, echo, you sort of sharpen the camera over the shoulders of these two as Amaru tosses yet another throwable object at this target, missing it completely.
Kind of like that, eh?
Precisely.
That was closer that time.
I don't understand. I can hit a moving rabbit, but a still dummy, and I throw another one and like sticks beside the dummy.
As he
I mean,
tosses
you're
another
consistent.
I'm consistently missing.
Have you tried relaxing?
Never.
That might be your issue. And I walk away.
That explains a lot. But yeah, he just gestures at him in general and says, "This explains this."
Maybe you need to stretch out your shoulders so you're not so tense.
Maybe he needs to stretch out everything.
Probably. Quite possibly, yes.
This explains why you were so terse in the bath. You're not a very relaxed person.
No, not at all.
It's tempting, but I don't want to. I don't.
Go on.
No.
Yes?
No.
No, I insist. I insist.
No.
I insist.
No.
Absolutely.
I don't want to tie the poor guy in a knot.
And on the nope, not gonna say this. We're gonna cut away to Messi, who sort of rides back into town on horseback. Messi, you planning to go home or let just? I'm gonna steer you by the pits, basically on horseback. You
Okay.
sort of past the pits and ride onto the actual hill itself to make a circle around. For some reason you're feeling curious. And you ride a circle around the actual edge of the pit, in between the scaffolding. And for you guys, as Ardeth is noping, you see Messi sort of appear on the edge of the pit, on horseback, sort of looking down at you guys.
Oh look, somebody to distract everybody.
I'd lean into Ardeth and say very, very quietly, also our benefactor for this particular event.
Oh fuck. I mean... Good to know.
Do I see that?
Yes, you see them, absolutely. They are in the pit and they seem to have been practicing. There's two sweaty men in there, bare-chested. One of them slightly more
I
blue
forgot
than
we
the
don't
other.
have our armor or anything on, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just pants and weapons.
Yep, and you see Amaru sort of throwing these wooden daggers in the direction of a training dummy, and there's like scattered daggers all around it. And Ilalu is sort of doing a bit of her dance routine and sort of warm-up moves.
Tickled and intrigued, I'm gonna go ahead and tie up Midnight and tell Midnight that I'll be back in just a few, and I'm going to go down to the pit, see what's going on.
Alright, so you tie up the horse and make your way around into the pit. As you are discussing all of this here, you sort of saw Messi appear, and eventually she's with you on the sands.
I think at this point, I'm putting up my wooden equipment and strapping back on my normal sword.
Alright.
Too easy. I'm gonna just, like, because we're sweating, I'm just gonna double check to make sure that it's not sticky sweat.
You double check. And besides the smell being a bit sweet, it does seem to be liquid this time. But it doesn't smell like sweat. It's like you're sweating just... Yeah, the smell of honey rather than the usual stink.
Yeah, I unabashedly give it a lick, give it a taste.
Yeah, it tastes like it too, but this is not sticky. This is just wet.
Smell them?
Yeah, you can smell them, especially when you get in range. Like, when you step closer.
Well, at least it's not sticky anymore. Honestly,
You
it kind of...
too?
Oh, yeah. The lot of us. Anushar.
Did you have like a burning sensation?
The pain,
like
yeah.
And sticky?
Yeah. This
on your
isn't.
back?
And he gestures to himself. It just tastes sweet. Honestly,
Yeah,
I kind of hope
like-
it sticks around.
I imagine someone else accidentally overhearing that part and sort of seeing you gesture at yourself.
You smell very pleasant to be sweaty. I mean, I smell sweaty. Yes, you smell very pleasant too.
Well, thank you very much.
Also, I'd ask that you ask permission before sniffing me. It's kind of weird.
I don't
I
require
have to ask permission to sniff you? Oh my, are you sensitive?
It's kind of weird to just go
Everybody
around
has
sniffing
their own
people.
boundaries, Messi.
Well, I mean, he smells like you both smell like. I mean, come on.
Amaru and Olalu are here too. Why don't you go sniff them?
But yeah, I go sniff them.
I didn't mean literal. And I just started walking away.
That didn't have the right for attention. I was quite happy.
So Ilalu would sort of suddenly have a Messi next to her, sort of taking a whiff.
Yeah? Honey?
What are you doing? She says as she gets out of
Are
what
you-
position she's in.
You're only a tiny bit sweaty, but yeah, you smell like honey too. checking, because they're really sweaty over there and they smell like honey. So I wanted to know if you smell like honey. And I'm going to go see if he smells like honey.
Why don't you take a couple of laps around the pit and then sweat and then see if you smell like honey?
Good idea.
Okay.
Yes, preferably instead of sniffing me.
Oh, you should definitely still
Already
go and do
done
that
that!
thing, though.
By the time you say that, Amaru, she's standing next to you and she sort of...
Fine, I guess.
Nobles are weird.
Yes, they are.
Oh, shit. I'll shut
I
my
start
mouth.
bugging.
And then Messi takes off for a lap around the pit. And at that point, Messi sort of starting running around the pit and making laps. You, four of you staring after her, a bit confused in the midday sun, or nearly midday sun. We're gonna call it there for tonight, and we'll pick up there the next time on the Unbound. Thank you, my players, for being here and doing this with me. And thank all of you out there who are watching and who are interested in following this story. I hope to see you all again next time and soon. So, again, thank you, and see you around. Goodbye.
Bye.